At 30, Chen Feng, who had a terminal illness, had a good fortune after his divorce. Winning the lottery, having good luck, and finally recovering from illness. What's going on? Chen Feng, who possessed the upper body of the European emperor, expressed some panic. Keywords of the novel. After divorce, I started to transfer without a pop-up window. After divorce, I started to transfer the complete TXT collection download. After divorce, I started to transfer the latest chapters to read. Chapter 1. Who to talk to for reasoning. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Who to talk to for reasoning. Minghu Park. The shimmering lake surface reflects the blue sky and white clouds. This was a rare good weather, but Chen Feng's mood sank to the bottom of the lake. The diagnosis book in his hand had been squeezed into a paper ball by him, but he didn't throw it away. He is only 29 years old this year, and he doesn't want to die. But fate played a heartless joke on him. Late-stage brain tumor. Chen Feng still remembers the doctor looking at him sympathetically and gently telling him to go back and eat, drink, play, and relax. The doctor's empathy is really rare. Chen Feng pulled out a bitter smile at the corner of his mouth, looked up at the sky, and then in a daze, he saw a shooting star passing through the sky in an instant. There's another hallucination, Chen Feng chuckled self-deprecatingly. During this period, he often experiences headaches, nausea, vomiting, and hallucinations. So I took a leave today to come to the hospital for a check-up and got this result. At this moment, the phone rang. It was his wife Shenlin. What's up? Chen Feng asked in a faint tone. I won't go home for dinner at work tonight. Shenlin's voice was pleasant and gentle, but her personality was not gentle at all. Oh. What's wrong with you? It's nothing. By the way, haven't you been wanting to divorce me? I agree. What are you saying? I said I agreed to divorce. I figured it out. It's not interesting for me to keep pestering you like this. Did you hear something? Chen Feng was taken aback for a moment, then a green thought came to his head and he said coldly, yes, I heard about it. So, let's get together and relax. Let's separate. You don't believe me anymore. Shenlin's tone also cooled down. This is not a question of whether I believe you or not, but it's unnecessary, understand? We no longer love each other. Can you tell us how much time we have been together in the past few months, how many times we have eaten at home together, and how many times we have loved each other? Chen Feng asked with some excitement. Yes. I may not really love you anymore. You are no longer the vibrant and energetic Chen Feng. But a middle-aged greasy man who complains about others every day, lives a mediocre life, and lacks ambition. Chen Feng's anger surged above his head, wanting to curse loudly, but in the end it turned into a long sigh. What are you complaining about when people are dying? Chen Feng opened up. Whatever you say. Now you take a leave, I'll go home with my documents and go to the Civil Affairs Bureau, Chen Feng said weakly. After a few seconds of silence, the other side asked in a deep voice, have you really considered it carefully? I can give you 2 more months. As long as you correct some of your bad habits, we may still. No need, Chen Feng interrupted her and said firmly, let's leave. Is it interesting to insist on being together when we have no emotions? Anyway, we don't have any children or property. I'll let you go and find your other happiness. A woman like you doesn't have to worry about leaving home. Okay. I'll go take leave now. 2 hours later, the two of them separated at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, each holding a divorce certificate. Shenlin gave him 2 days to move out of the house where the two of them currently live. This house was rented to them by Chen Feng's parents as a wedding room, and they paid the rent in full for 3 years at once, while they have been living in it for almost 2 years. Because it is very close to Shenlin's unit, it can be considered as some compensation from Chen Feng to her. Chen Feng voluntarily chose to move out of this home where he had lived for almost 2 years. Chen Feng also left all the household appliances and furniture for her. Anyway, he felt like he was going to die and couldn't take these things with him, so he left them for Shenlin. After all, the two have loved each other before. Moreover, Shenlin almost had a falling out with her parents in order to marry him back then. At the end of the day, it's just that Chen Feng has no money or a house, and his job is average. He has always felt guilty about this. Taking the initiative to divorce her this time can also be considered as compensation for her. Divorced women always sound better than widows. He doesn't want to drag her down either. Chen Feng doesn't take a car and walks all the way back to his place of residence. He plans to find a cheaper house to live in tomorrow and move out. More than half an hour later, I arrived at my street, and suddenly a strong wind blew on the flat ground, which made wudong trees fall down one after another. Plastic bags, paper scraps, and dust rose with the wind and blew towards Chen Feng in front of him. Subconsciously, Chen Feng reached out to block his eyes and saw a piece of paper just blowing into his hand. He grabbed it and saw a freshly scraped paint with a car pattern on it. Chen Feng was a bit foolish at the time. He had also played scratch lottery before. This thing is very simple, just scratch and mark the prize directly on the lottery ticket. For example, 10 yuan, 100 yuan, 1000 yuan. And this time, the scratched lottery ticket that Chen Feng was holding not only marked with 2 100 yen, 1 500 yen, and 1 1000 yen, but also a picture of a car. This is a winning scratch lottery ticket, and it's also a big prize. And it shouldn't be a fake lottery. Who just scraped open this lottery ticket and didn't want it? Or did someone else throw it away? After a battle between heaven and man, Chen Feng honestly held this lottery ticket and waited on the roadside. Chen Feng decided that as long as someone came to look for it and confirmed the amount and car on this lottery ticket, he would return it to the other party. Still saying that, he's going to die, and he doesn't want to be on the brink of death. He can't be considered a good person in this life, but he doesn't want to be a bad person before dying. So he stood by the roadside and waited obediently for half an hour, but no one came to look for him, let alone ask. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Chen Feng couldn't hold back any longer and went to the nearest public restroom for convenience. Then, according to the betting station number written on the lottery ticket, I found one on this street. Chen Feng used to occasionally visit. Many people in the store are buying scratch paint, but it seems that there aren't many who have won the big prize. Chen Feng spent 20 yuan to buy 2 tickets, and with a casual scrape, he won 1,530 yuan in the first ticket and 2,000 yuan in the second ticket. Immediately, it attracted envy and jealousy from everyone in the store. You really have incredible luck. Yeah. I spent 2,000 on this Nima, bought 4 bags to scrape, and my fingers hurt from scraping, only getting a few hundred yuan. This is really incomparable. Brother, why don't I pay for it? Can you help me scrape it off? We won half of the prize. Yes, brother, you're really lucky today. Can you help me scrape it out? I'll share half of it with you. Chen Feng came here originally to hear if anyone had lost a lottery ticket or something, but he didn't expect to win. There is really a feeling of planting flowers with a heart but not blooming, planting willows and willows without a heart. In the past, he was also a lottery enthusiast and had been buying for several years, but he only won the highest prize of 20 yuan once. He hasn't bought anything in the past few months, and he didn't expect to win this time. As a result, he just bought something and won it. Find someone to reason with. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Encountering Beauty on the Road. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Encountering Beauty on the Road. Chen Feng ignored the envious lottery players and went to the counter to redeem the prize, leaving directly. Chen Feng plans to wait another day for the lottery ticket that hit the car, and then look around tomorrow. If there is no news yet, he will certainly go and redeem it himself. That night, Chen Feng packed his luggage and planned to find a good place to move out tomorrow. Shenlin didn't go home that night. The next morning, Chen Feng went to the lottery store for a walk. At this time, there was no one in the store, only the owner was present. Chen Feng casually asked, "Have we heard of anyone winning the lottery recently?" Chen Feng received over 3,000 yuan in the store yesterday, and he has also visited from time to time in the past 2 years. The shop owner still remembers him and said with a smile, "The biggest prize I won in the scratch lottery here should be you." Yesterday, he scraped out over 3,000 yuan from 2 tickets. Chen Feng nodded and didn't say much anymore. He took 20 yuan and bought 2 more. "I didn't scratch on site either, I took it and left directly." He plans to look for a house nearby. After all, he has been living here for almost 2 years and is quite familiar with it. "Lucky enough, I passed by a steamed bun shop and bought a few meat buns and a box of milk. I casually asked if there was a single room nearby for rent, but the landlady happened to know and enthusiastically gave him the landlord's phone number. While eating meat buns, I called the landlord and had breakfast nearby. It took only a few minutes to walk and the two met at the breakfast shop. The landlord was very straightforward and had a good impression of him, so they took him directly to see the room. The house he currently lives in is just 2 blocks away, which can be considered an old community with a history of more than 20 years, and it is not too dilapidated. On the first floor, it is over 50 square meters and has been simply decorated. 1 living room, 1 bathroom, 1 bedroom, and a small open-air courtyard of 7 or 8 square meters. The kitchen is right next to the steps of the small courtyard, and the space is small, but it's barely enough. The monthly rent is 800, with 1 deposit and 3 payments. Chen Feng said to rent for 1 year and pay 10,000 directly. Renew the lease and notify him 2 months in advance. The landlord agreed without hesitation. The two quickly drafted the contract and waived the agency fee. Chen Feng has a good impression of this chubby middle-aged landlord. Although he gave a little more rent, he felt a bit guilty in his heart. He thought it was very likely that he would suddenly die in this room in the future. "I can only leave some money for this landlord as compensation when I am about to die in the future." Chen Feng has always been such a thoughtful person, so his life, which is about to end, has not lived well before and has too many concerns. Having found a house and not far from his previous home, Chen Feng took a taxi and brought the gifts over. "Then I tidied up a bit, even if it was neat. Going out and walking over the street where I had found the lottery, I still haven't seen anyone looking for it. I went to that lottery store again and didn't hear of anyone losing their lottery tickets." Until noon, after lunch, Chen Feng wandered around the area again, but there were still no rumors of losing the winning lottery ticket. It seems that this lottery ticket that won the car was given to him by heaven. Tianyu will not take it, but will bear its blame. Chen Feng stopped trying to find the owner and took a taxi to the Lottery Redemption Center. He smoothly obtained a Buick Enclave worth over 200,000 yuan, which is exactly the model he has been wanting to buy in recent years. Now 1 lottery ticket is realized. Driving this Buick, Chen Feng didn't have much joy in his heart. Because he is about to die. Driving aimlessly in this city with a population of millions, without realizing it, one has already left the city center and continued driving along a straight road. I don't know how long I've been driving, but after turning a corner and entering a fork in the road, I suddenly see a lush green field, with forests, golden rice fields, and herds of cattle and sheep interspersed among them, creating a thriving rural scene. Looking at the beautiful scenery before him, Chen Feng's mood suddenly improved a lot. After driving another distance, the number of cars on the road gradually decreased. Chen Feng decided to find a place to get some air and move his hands and feet. It has been over 2 hours without realizing the time. At this moment, from a distance, I saw a mini parked on the roadside, and beside it stood a beautiful woman with long hair and shawls waving towards him. Quickly approaching the mini car, Chen Feng stopped the car and opened the window, asking, "What's up? Can you lend me my phone? My car broke down and my phone ran out of battery." The woman bent down and lowered her head to meet Chen Feng in the car. She was indeed very beautiful, about 23 or 4 years old, with a pure appearance and a beautiful voice. Okay. I'll stop the car. Chen Feng drove the car forward and parked it on the side. Then he got off the car, took out his phone, and handed it to the woman happily. It's not that he didn't have the heart to guard against people, but rather that there are fields all around here, with no villages or shops in front or behind, and there aren't many cars on the road. There's only such a young and beautiful woman at the scene, can't immortals still dance? More importantly, Chen Feng is almost dead now, with much greater courage than usual, and he is not afraid of being misled when doing good deeds. Thank you, thank you. The girl took the phone and was greatly grateful. Then she hurriedly called a friend of hers, said it for a while before ending the call and returning the phone to Chen Feng. Big brother, thank you. We'll treat you to dinner another day. No need. Chen Feng waved his phone and wanted to leave, but was stopped by the girl. Big brother, can you wait with me for a moment? My friend will come over soon. We'll treat you to dinner another day. I really trouble you. In the end, the girl can be considered as making a plea together. Chen Feng was originally like getting off the car to take a look at the scenery, moving his hands and feet. Seeing this, he happily agreed, okay. I'll just take a look at the scenery here and rest for a while. Thank you, big brother. You're so kind. The girl looked grateful. There are no villages or shops in front or behind here, cars break down, phones run out of battery, and there are not many people passing by. She is certainly a little scared as a girl. Chen Feng walked over to his car on his own, took a bottle of pure water gifted by the car store, and drank it, then looked around at the rural scenery. It is October, and the golden rice fields are also approaching harvest time. A few water buffalo in the distance are leisurely eating grass, while a group of white goats are not far away, bleating and eating grass, looking very delicious. Chen Feng stared at this group of white sheep, drooling a bit. Big brother, are you a local? The girl walked up to him at some point and suddenly asked. Chen Feng regained his senses and instinctively shook his head, saying, No, it's not. Oh, my name is Wu Mengting. What's your surname? The girl seemed to be getting close to Chen Feng. My surname is Chen. Chen Feng didn't mean to say his name, but instead asked, How did you, a girl, come here? Wu Mengting smiled awkwardly and said, I'm here to take some photos of the scenery in the fields. Who knew that the car wouldn't start after parking here? My phone also ran out of battery. Speaking of which, she turned to Chen Feng and thanked him again, Thanks for meeting you, brother Chen. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. It's a few kilometers away from the main road here. I waited for half an hour without seeing anyone, and I'm even more afraid of encountering bad people. Are you not afraid that I am a bad person? Chen Feng asked curiously. Wu Mengting chuckled and said, Big brother, you don't look like a bad person at first glance. You look very kind-hearted. Besides, your car should be a new one, right? It's over 200,000 yuan already. People who have money to buy such a car, especially those who have just bought it, generally won't be bad people. Chen Feng is a bit confused about this logic. However, it must be said that her vision is still very accurate. He has a handsome and kind face at first glance, completely unrelated to bad people. Requesting tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Luck. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Luck. The two of them chatted casually on the roadside. Wu Mengting voluntarily revealed a lot of information about herself. She just graduated from graduate school last year and now works as an editor for a certain magazine. Her hometown is from Lusha, and she is actually from the same hometown as Chen Feng. However, she is from the downtown area of Lusha, and Chen Feng is a county below Lusha. The two communicate in their hometown dialect, with some differences in accents, but they can basically understand each other. This instantly brought us closer to each other. It can be seen that Wu Mingting's expression has become more relaxed. Chen Feng is also a bit happy. He hasn't gone back to his hometown for over a year, and he basically hasn't met anyone from his hometown in this provincial capital city of Shuzhou. As a result, this time driving around, I unexpectedly met a fellow villager. Encountering a fellow villager from a foreign land, and being a beautiful girl, always brings a pleasant mood. This time, Chen Feng did not refuse to leave people thousands of miles away. He took the initiative to say his name and also talked about some of his own things. Of course, there was no mention of divorce. Wu Mingting initially didn't believe that her new car was from scratch, but it wasn't until Chen Feng took out the prize voucher from the car and showed it to her that she finally believed it. "You're lucky too," Wu Mingting said with envy on her face. Chen Feng smiled and said, "Maybe I was too unlucky before. The heavens can't bear it anymore." "Why did you have bad luck before?" Wu Mingting asked curiously. After thinking for a moment, Chen Feng realized that we wouldn't be able to meet again after today. He said, "I just divorced yesterday and was diagnosed with a terminal illness." Wu Mingting suddenly opened her mouth wide, and after a while, she shook her head and said, "It's impossible. I think you're pretty good, why do you look like someone with a terminal illness?" Chen Feng smiled and didn't go to get any diagnostic report this time. He just said, "Just don't believe it." Originally, he just said that, after all, this secret is kept in his heart and cannot be told to others, which is actually quite oppressive. Speaking up now, whether she believes it or not, is also a way of resolving the issue. We met by chance, and there will never be any intersection in the future, so there is no need to make her believe or sympathize with herself. It's not that you don't believe it, it's just that this kind of thing is too unbelievable. Besides, if you have a terminal illness, big brother, your mentality is also too good. Besides, if you really have a terminal illness, shouldn't you be in the hospital? What are you still doing in the hospital when you have a terminal illness and no rule of law? Looking at Chen Feng's relaxed tone, but it didn't seem like a joke at all, Wu Mingting felt a bit convinced. For a moment, I didn't know what to say, so I couldn't help but fall silent. Chen Feng didn't take the initiative to start a conversation anymore, but took out his phone and started taking photos. The nearby scenery was really nice. Not long after, a polo drove over and Wu Mingting's best friend arrived, who was also a beautiful woman. She was a bit tall, at least 1.7 meters, slightly older, in her 20s and 60s, dressed in a fashionable urban beauty. Politely introducing each other, it was called Lin Wan. After being polite to each other, the trailer also arrived. Minnie dragged away, and Wu Mingting also got into Lin Wan's car and left. Chen Feng was not in a hurry to leave. He wanted to wait for the owner of the group of white goats in front of him to come and buy a sheep to eat. The doctors have all said that we should eat, drink, and play. Since we want to eat sheep, let's get one to eat. Just after waiting for a few minutes, I saw an old farmer holding a sheep whip coming out of the distant forest and starting to drive the sheep. Chen Feng quickly walked off the road and shouted loudly at the old farmer, "Boss, do you sell sheep?" Of course, sheep are sold, and this old farmer is very honest. He didn't ask Chen Feng much money. Chen Feng spent 1,500 to buy one, and the old farmer also introduced him to a slaughterhouse. Tie up 4 legs and stuff them into the trunk, Chen Feng drove to the slaughterhouse mentioned by the old farmer, which was just a few kilometers away in a village. Now the roads in the village have hardened and are very flat, and there are also house numbers. It is easy to find them while driving. Spending 100 yuan to slaughter, Chen Feng watched from the side. When he was a child, he often watched slaughtering pigs without feeling anything. Then, while the butcher was cleaning up his organs, a lump-like object fell off and rolled over to Chen Feng's side. Chen Feng bent down curiously and picked up something casually. After a brief glance, Huangbu pulled a few pieces of it. "Is this sheep yellow?" the butcher exclaimed in surprise. Chen Feng had never thought of it before, but as soon as he heard the butcher shout, he immediately understood. This is a sheep stone. Cows have cows yellow, and of course sheep also have sheep's yellow, but compared to cows yellow, sheep's yellow is even more rare. I don't know the specific price of sheep yellow at the moment, but Chen Feng also has some knowledge of the price of natural cow yellow, which is sky high. Even 1 gram is worth tens of thousands. Chen Feng opened his phone and did a quick search, and it was indeed a sky-high price. There was news from a few years ago that an old farmer sold 62 grams of natural bezoar for 3.12 million yuan. This is still a few years ago, and the current price is certainly more expensive. And now the sheep yellow in Chen Feng's hand weighs about 200 to 300 grams. This luck really runs out of people. At this moment, several people gathered around the slaughterhouse, looking at Chen Feng with envy, shock, and greed on their faces. Especially the butcher responsible for killing sheep, his eyes turned red with envy. If it weren't for several people around him watching, Chen Feng would even suspect that he had the intention of killing and robbing money. After all, he was still holding a butcher's knife in his hand. "Master, I'll give you a red envelope later." Chen Feng nodded calmly at him and calmly stuffed this sheep yellow into his pocket. How could this sheep yellow be sold for millions? You can't miss the red envelope. The butcher's tone was full of jealousy and indignation. He has killed livestock for several years, at least hundreds of cattle and sheep, and only today did he see sheep yellow. And Chen Feng Nima just happened to buy a sheep and planned to kill himself to eat, so Nima opened up sheep yellow. Especially this sheep yellow still fell from his side and rolled to Chen Feng's feet. If it hadn't fallen just now, and if he hadn't shouted out loud, he might have lost this sheep yellow. Thinking of this, the butcher wished he could give himself a knife. Chen Feng just smiled and didn't say anything. In this kind of thing, it is proper to give red envelopes, but giving more and giving less is not the other butchers the final say. The onlookers wanted Chen Feng to show everyone the sheep yellow, but Chen Feng just smiled and shook his head. Although the onlookers were dissatisfied, they couldn't say anything. After all, everyone didn't know each other, and this sheep yellow belonged to Chen Feng. Chen Feng had no obligation to show it to them. The butcher quickly processed the sheep with emotion, put it in a woven bag, and threw it at Chen Feng's feet. Then he asked for a red envelope and said, "Boss, I don't want too many red envelopes either, let's give it 80,000 yuan. Just give it 80,000 yuan. Chen Feng chuckled twice and picked up his phone to directly dial a number. "Is it 110? I'll report it. Someone here is forcibly demanding a red envelope, still holding a knife. The address is 134, XX Road, XX Village, Liham Slaughterhouse." "Okay, I'll wait for you." The butcher was stunned for a while, and Nima still had this operation. After Chen Feng finished calling the police, he realized and his face turned green. He loudly defended himself, "When will I force a red envelope? Don't wrongly accuse anyone." The other few people also quickly stepped forward to express their feelings at this moment. "Boss, he helped you make sheep yellow, at least 1 million or so. It's not excessive to ask you for an 88,000 red envelope. Old Chui, I think you want 58,000. Boss, it's pointless to report such a festive event to the police." Chen Feng now had a completely indifferent attitude towards life and death, refusing to accept and doing whatever he wanted. He said coldly with a stern face, "This sheep belongs to me, and I gave him money to slaughter it. The sheep yellow he opened up is also mine. What's the matter with him? I gave him a red envelope as a favor, and if he doesn't give it, he can't force me. I don't owe him anything. Why does he want me to do 80,000 yuan? Otherwise, I can give the sheep yellow directly to him. Let's talk about it when the police arrive. I'll directly sue a gang of you for extortion and robbery." The few romantic people immediately took a step back when they heard this. They are all ordinary people, and no one wants to get involved in a lawsuit. Someone waved their hand and loudly defended themselves, saying, "This is none of my business. Don't wrongly accuse others. I'm leaving, and you can handle your own affairs." After speaking, the person quickly walked away. The other few people also scattered like birds and beasts upon seeing this. Only the butcher who demanded the red envelope and Chen Feng were left staring blankly. In the end, the butcher hesitated and sighed, "I said you're too stingy, there are already millions. Is it too much for me to ask you for tens of thousands of red envelopes? Let's wait until the police arrive. I hate people threatening me the most." "I didn't threaten you." "You have." "No." "Okay. I'll wait in the car, I'm too lazy to talk to you anymore." Chen Feng picked up the woven bag containing the slaughtered white sheep, turned around, and walked towards the door. The butcher instinctively followed to the door, then watched as Chen Feng packed the woven bag into the trunk, covered it, walked to the driver's seat, opened the car door, sat in the car, started the car, and drove away. The car just drove away. The butcher standing at the entrance of the slaughterhouse was stunned for half a day before angrily shouting, "You are merciless." End of this chapter. Chapter 4, I don't believe it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4, I don't believe it. The butcher asked for a red envelope of 80,000 yuan, but in the end, he didn't get a penny. Chen Feng, who was driving away, did not report to the police. He had previously called 114. He is almost dead and doesn't want to waste his time on these boring disputes. The journey back was very smooth, and in less than an hour, we returned to the rental house. Take out the piece of sheep yellow from your pocket, go to the bathroom to wash it first, then hold it in your hand and weigh it slightly. It does look like about half a pound, which is about 250 grams. Even if calculated at a price of 10,000 grams, this sheep yellow is worth 2.5 million. And obviously, natural sheep yellow is now priced at more than 11,000 grams. Chen Feng took out his phone and searched online again, and also found some news reports from Yanghuang. One of the news is that 2 years ago, someone auctioned off a sheep yellow with a net weight of 320 grams, and it was sold for 8.9 million yuan. It adds up to about over 20,000 grams. Of course, this is the auction price, which is generally higher than the market price. However, the two should also be similar. Besides, this is the price 2 years ago, and now the price is definitely higher. Because prices have risen significantly in the past 2 years, and the prices of traditional Chinese medicine have generally increased, with some cases increasing several times within a year. Sheep yellow is also considered a type of traditional Chinese medicine, and it is natural for its price to rise accordingly. Chen Feng plans to go to the traditional Chinese medicine store tomorrow to inquire about the price. It's already a bit late today, and there's also a recently slaughtered big white sheep waiting for him to eat. He immediately opened the woven bag, took out the slaughtered whole sheep, and placed it in the kitchen. Afterwards, Chen Feng went out to get an induction cooker, an electromagnetic high-pressure cooker, cutting boards, knives, pots, pans, saucers, and other seasonings from the car. They were all bought from the supermarket on the way back and packed in 2 large plastic bags. Returning to the rental house, Chen Feng began to work hard in the kitchen. It's very simple. First, let's stew lamb in a pressure cooker. Chop the plump and fresh lamb into pieces, put it in a pressure cooker with seasoning, and let it sit in water until simmered. While stewing lamb, Chen Feng went to the car and carried a bag of rice and an electric rice cooker back, and cooked the rice as well. In less than half an hour, the lamb was stewed and the whole house was filled with the aroma of stewed lamb. After taking out the pot and taking a gentle bite, it was really delicious. It felt much better than the lamb bought at the market. First, I had a big bowl of stewed lamb, my mouth was full of oil, and then I made a bowl of white rice and served a bowl of lamb soup with lamb. Although he has a terminal illness, his appetite is still not small, and there is no intention of losing weight. A year ago, his weight began to rise continuously. Originally, he was 1.78 meters tall and weighed 146 pounds, which could be considered standard. However, now his weight is 107, which is quite a chubby person. Eating is a blessing. Especially for Chen Feng, who is nearing his end. He ate another bowl of rice before burping and finishing the dinner. There is still a small portion of stewed lamb in the pressure cooker, which will be kept as a late-night snack. It was only after 6 p.m. at this time, and there was no TV in the rental room. His original desktop computer had not been moved in either. It's really boring. Picking up a phone doesn't have Wi-Fi, so playing games with data is obviously not as convenient. I still need to get broadband tomorrow. So, Chen Feng decided to go out for a walk and eat. He didn't drive either. As soon as he walked out of the neighborhood, he saw a digital store across from him holding a double 10 lucky draw. It happened to be during the rush hour at dusk, and it was quite lively. Thinking that I still lack a high-end laptop, I went over to take a look. Crossing the road and entering the store, I saw more than 10 people gathered together, staring at the red envelopes hanging on colorful balloons at the counter. One of them pointed to a red envelope, and the landlady at the counter took it down and opened it. Inside was a piece of paper with a prize written on it, a pair of Bluetooth earphones. Chen Feng stood and looked for a while, and finally understood. If you spend over 2,000 yuan in this computer store, there will be a chance for a lucky draw, which is the red envelopes hanging on colored balloon lines one by one. The notice board states that the lowest priced gift inside is also a USB flash drive worth tens of yuan, and the highest prize is a laptop worth over 10,000 yuan. That is to say, as long as you participate in the lottery, everyone will receive a prize. Someone previously drew a fruit phone worth 5,000 to 6,000 yuan here, which attracted a lot of onlookers and participants. Even a few people who were not familiar with each other were discussing raising enough to spend 2,000 yuan and drawing a lottery together. Chen Feng originally wanted to come and take a look at his laptop, but when he saw the situation, he decided to buy himself a phone first. His current phone is still the one Shen Lin gave him when he got married. 2 years have passed, and although it can still be used, it is also somewhat outdated. Thinking about the sheep yellow in his hand, he was not the one with poor money now. He went to the mobile phone counter and quickly chose the latest Huawei phone, which cost over 5,000 yuan, and directly drained his previous small treasury. In the past, Chen Feng naturally couldn't bear to part with it, but now his life is not long, and he still has millions of sheep yellow in his hands. This consumption is just a sprinkle of water. After buying his phone, Chen Feng got 2 opportunities to draw red envelopes. There are 2 piles of colored balloons hanging on top, with about 50 or 60 red envelopes tied by hanging red lines. The probability of the laptop winning the highest prize from these 50 or 60 red envelopes is actually not low, 1 in 5 or 60, which is much more reliable than buying lottery tickets. No wonder there are so many people around the store, everyone is smart, and the chances of winning are quite high. But the shop owner is definitely not at a disadvantage. Chen Feng wanted to choose a red envelope, and the people around him who were watching the excitement gathered around him. Just these 2, Chen Feng casually ordered 2 red envelopes hanging at the front, wanting to try his luck again. It seems that since his divorce, he has been going through a lot of luck. First, he picked up a scratch lottery prize out of thin air, then he wanted to buy a sheep to eat and got the sheep yellow. He doesn't believe that he can win another big prize by randomly ordering 2 red envelopes this time. The landlady at the counter first opened a red envelope and saw several bright red ones in front of everyone's eyes. Someone shouted, "I'll go. Just give me the money." How many are there? This luck is too good, isn't it? It looks like there are 5 or 6 cards. The landlady at the counter was also somewhat surprised, and pulled out a few red banknotes from inside. There were actually 8 bills, 800 yuan. This luck. Everyone was envious and jealous. Especially a middle-aged chubby man said regretfully, "I was supposed to choose this red envelope before, but I ended up choosing another one and only drew the power bank." The landlady said somewhat helplessly, "I didn't even know there was a cash red envelope, it should have been put in by my husband." Chen Feng took the 800 yuan cash red envelope and was slightly stunned. It seemed like he had really made a fortune with his Nima. It's just that one good luck after another makes him feel a bit unreal. "Open the second one quickly and take a look," someone urged. "Yeah, open it and take a look." The landlady saw that Chen Feng did not object, so she opened it and then read out the note inside. Upon closer inspection, she was immediately stunned. "Boss, what prize? Bring it out quickly," someone urged again. Someone noticed that the boss's expression was not right and joked, "Boss, it's not a big prize, is it? Can't bear to give it away." This person's words made everyone react. Especially for those who didn't win the big prize before, they all spoke up to urge. With so many people watching, the landlady could only look bitter and pull out the note inside. It was clearly handwritten on a laptop using a red watercolor pen, with a few anti-counterfeiting numbers specifically written below. Only the landlady and the boss knew that counterfeiting was not possible. She just remembered that the red envelope had already been picked up by her. Why did it hang up again? New book seeking support. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Continuous good luck. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Continuous good luck. Wow. In the digital store, the dozen or so onlookers immediately became boiling. It's really a laptop. The biggest prize. Grasp the grass. This luck is too unlucky, isn't it? This is the best equipped God of War series computer, it costs 15,000 yuan. Brother, you're really lucky. You've won 2 big prizes in a row. The onlookers were all envious. At this moment, Chen Feng was bewildered. He didn't believe he would always be so lucky, but the reality is that he is so lucky. What's going on here? At this moment, Chen Feng's heart was filled with question marks. Brother, hurry up and accept the award. Someone kindly reminded me nearby. Chen Feng woke up from a dream and nodded at the boss's wife with a stiff smile, "Thank you very much, boss." The boss's wife was very depressed in her heart. This is a high-end computer worth 15,000 yuan, and she really couldn't bear to take it out. But with so many people on site, she couldn't deny it and wouldn't be able to use low-end laptops to deceive her. The bulletin board clearly stated the computer model. The landlady reluctantly went to get her laptop, brand new, and placed it on the counter. More than a dozen people gathered to watch, and even some people outside heard the commotion and came to join in. The landlady endured the pain and turned on the laptop in front of everyone, then gave a detailed introduction to the performance of this laptop, and of course, took the opportunity to advertise for her store. At the same time, she also announced that they will continue to bring out this laptop in their store tomorrow, and if anyone is lucky, they can still win. Such a promotion convinced everyone present. After all, someone had already won a fruit phone before, and now someone has won the laptop with the biggest prize. This cannot be done falsely. Previously, some people suspected that there was no laptop with the highest prize in these red envelopes, but now Chen Feng has all won. Moreover, Chen Feng clearly doesn't seem to be a joke. The owner's reluctant expression just now couldn't be fake, otherwise, his acting skills could have won an Oscar. So, many people on site plan to come and try again tomorrow. However, it is clear that they will be tricked. Because the landlady had a painful experience and had decided not to even write notes on her laptop tomorrow, how could she still be hit by someone? If it weren't for a precaution this time, she would definitely not have received the highest prize red envelope, let alone hung it directly. Chen Feng didn't care about the boss's thoughts. He stood still and listened to her talk, and finally gave him a ticket. In the envy of everyone, Chen Feng walked away with his laptop in hand. Stepping out of the digital store, Chen Feng couldn't help but marvel at his good luck again. This is just too dreamy. These 2 days are more than the good things he has encountered in the past 20 years. No one believes this even when it's said. Of course, good luck is even a bit late for him now. Because he could die at any moment. The doctor did not tell him how long he could still live, but Chen Feng searched online and found that late-stage brain tumors usually only last for 2 to 3 months. So, let a person who has only 2 or 3 months of good luck keep going, unless they can continue their life, otherwise everything else is meaningless. However, since there is no shortage of money now, Chen Feng certainly needs to enjoy it well. He first took his laptop back to the rental house, then went out and drove to the nearest video game hall. When he was in high school, he loved electronic games very much, but as he grew older, he didn't have the opportunity or time to play them anymore. But in my heart, I have always had the desire to come to the game hall and have fun. Now he's almost dying, so of course, this wish needs to be fulfilled. I first exchanged 100 game coins and put them in a plastic frame to play with the doll machine. Pinching dolls is a popular game that many people love to play, but few people can successfully pick up dolls. This actually has little to do with skills, but rather with luck. Basically, the doll machines in these game halls have been passively manipulated, making it difficult for people to easily use their skills to pick up dolls. Otherwise, the game hall will only lose and not make a profit. Of course, sometimes in order to attract customers appropriately, businesses may intentionally lower the difficulty level so that people can easily pick up the dolls, but such incidents are rare and rare. Chen Feng's purpose is just to play, not to pick up dolls. So, he casually found a doll machine, threw in 2 coins, and started playing around recklessly. There was no accident in the first round, we didn't catch it. The second round continues, still not yet. In the third round, Chen Feng randomly pressed his hands and caught a cute teddy bear. Looking at the doll that fell out, Chen Feng was stunned again, thinking to himself that it wouldn't be his good luck again. Does even playing this have a good luck bonus? So, Chen Feng continued, there was no 4th inning, and in the 5th inning, there was another one, this time a monkey. In the 6th round, it's a rooster. In a total of 10 rounds, Chen Feng actually caught 5 dolls. And this is obviously not a problem with Chen Feng's technology, but a problem with luck. He remembers the last time he played with a doll machine was over 2 years ago, when he was dating Shenlin. One time when he went to the mall, he saw a doll machine and the two of them played a few games together. Besides, in my memory, playing with dolls can be traced back to my high school years. Uncle, you're amazing. Can you teach me? When Chen Feng was stunned, a 15-year-old girl beside him suddenly spoke up, looking at him with a look of admiration and envy. Besides this girl, there were already many people around him, mostly young people in their teens and 20s. They all have a look of admiration. Chen Feng is really amazing, especially when it comes to the back, he can catch one accurately. Well, I actually don't have much to teach, I'm just lucky. You're lying, the little girl said with some dissatisfaction. I often come here to catch them, why haven't I caught a few? And you caught so many in one go. You deliberately hid something. This little brat. Chen Feng harbored resentment in his heart. Are young girls nowadays so impolite? I'm not lying to you. I won't play anymore. Do you want these dolls? Give them all to you. Chen Feng was too lazy to argue with the little girl and directly gave her the 5 dolls he had caught. Ah. Really? Thank you, uncle. You're the most handsome. The little girl was overjoyed and bent down to pick up the cloth doll without any courtesy. It was not easy to pick up all 5 of them together, so she could only hold them tightly in her arms with both hands. At this moment, Chen Feng had already left and walked briskly to a coin-pushing machine. This thing sounds like a gambling machine, and looking at those coins on the edges, they will be pushed down at any time, but in reality, it's not like that at all. Many people have been tricked by this thing, and even many have become addicted to it, losing everything. Chen Feng wanted to try his luck again and see how incredible it was, so he casually threw coins into this gold-swallowing beast and threw more than 10 coins without any movement. Chen Feng was not surprised by this and continued to throw in more than 10 more. Just as Chen Feng was wondering if his lucky buff had disappeared, he suddenly heard a loud crash. The game coins, which were originally stacked high, suddenly collapsed and toppled down. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Worth not in the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Worth not in the world. The high stacked coins collapsed, making a loud noise and attracting the attention of many people in an instant. The little girl holding 5 cloth dolls also followed and ran to Chen Feng's side, with a look of admiration and envy on her face. "Uncle, you're amazing. You've won so much in one go. This coin-pushing machine is really difficult to win. I've been playing here for months and haven't seen anyone win on this machine. Can you teach me how to win? I promise I won't tell anyone." This little girl is really familiar from birth. Chen Feng ignored her and squatted down to put the dropped coins into a plastic box. This time there were over 3,000 coins, and according to a 1:1 exchange rate, it is actually equivalent to over 3,000 yuan. The onlookers were all envious. These game tokens are not allowed to be exchanged for cash on the surface, but some are privately collected by people. Someone approached and whispered, "Boss, are these coins for sale?" 2,000, I'll take them all. Go, go. He doesn't sell. Before Chen Feng could say anything, the little girl angrily rushed out. The person glanced at the little girl and didn't say much, then turned around and left. "Uncle, don't sell these game coins at a cheap price. If you really want to sell them to me and I won't let you lose out." Chen Feng couldn't help but glance at the little girl and said to himself, "I don't sell. I'm just here to play, not to make money." "Uncle, you are indeed an expert." The little girl put a high hat on him again. Chen Feng continued to pack game coins, but of course, one plastic box couldn't fit it. He packed a total of 3. 3 plastic boxes stacked together were heavy, and Chen Feng could only carry them with both hands. Next, Chen Feng did not play gambling game consoles anymore, but instead played racing and shooting. After playing a few rounds, I didn't spend much money on this game coin. Afterwards, he went to play with a dance machine, which Chen Feng had never played before and he didn't know how to dance before, so he didn't have much music. However, isn't this about to die? There's nothing wrong with trying before death. Sure enough, playing on a dance machine, relying on luck, is useless. If you don't have a sense of music or rhythm, you just can't dance well. Game over is very fast. Many people around burst into laughter when they saw Chen Feng frantically jumping around. Especially a few little brats laughed the loudest. Regarding this, Chen Feng expressed calmness. Go, go. You guys started playing like this, didn't you? What's so funny about it? It was the little girl just now who stood up again to support Chen Feng, and at this moment, she somehow got a large plastic bag from somewhere and put several dolls inside, holding them in one hand. "Uncle, let me take you. I can dance very well." The little girl volunteered to help and asked for a double dance. Chen Feng didn't refuse either, nodded and said, "Okay, I'll pay for the game coins." "Okay," the little girl smiled sweetly. Coin in, the duet begins. However, half a minute later, the two of them overcame together. "Uncle, please let go." The little girl said with a good demeanor, "Since you want to play the dance machine, you need to have a shameless spirit. Don't be afraid of losing face when dancing. The more you dance, the better and more confident you become." Chen Feng smiled and said, "You're right. Let's have another round." "Hey, uncle, we're still waiting." It's our turn. A young man next to him shouted discontentedly. Go, everyone stay on my side. The little girl, who was very sociable, grabbed a handful of game coins from Chen Feng's plastic box and handed them to the young man. Xiao Qing suddenly smiled and left obediently with a few friends. Uncle, do you mind? Turning back, the little girl spat out her tongue at Chen Feng and asked. I don't mind, anyway there are so many game coins, and I don't want to take them with me. Can you help me spend some? This little girl may seem impolite, but after all this exposure, her nature is still good. Uncle, you're really annoying. I recognize you as a friend. Let me start teaching you now. So the little girl dutifully asked Chen Feng to play the dance machine. During this period, several groups of people came over to take turns playing, but they were all dismissed by her. Chen Feng really studied diligently, coupled with his thick skin, and after jumping a few more innings, his technique really improved by leaps and bounds. Chen Feng suddenly felt a bit addicted, and the little girl was also full of a sense of achievement. The two of them then seized the dance machine and danced for over 2 hours. Both of them were feeling tired at this moment, and their feet were starting to ache. I will no longer continue. Next, the little girl took Chen Feng to continue playing other game consoles, and she was really familiar with this game hall. After playing around, Chen Feng felt very satisfied. And the little girl probably kept smiling because she didn't have to spend money herself. When the game hall speaker announced that the door was about to close, the two finished the game and walked together towards the door. Uncle, are you still coming to play tomorrow night? The little girl asked with some hope. Chen Feng shook his head and said, no, we may not come in the future. He only has 2 or 3 months now, but he doesn't want to waste too much time in the game hall. It's enough to let go and play once tonight. He has many other things to do. Why? I see you had a great time tonight. Why don't you continue playing? The little girl was somewhat dissatisfied and disappointed. I have other things to do. You too, are you in junior high school now? Don't come to the game hall all day and stop studying. Originally, Chen Feng didn't want to say anything later, but at least everyone knew each other and she played with him for several hours at night. Chen Feng couldn't help but say it. I won't study, do you have to take care of me? The little girl immediately turned her face around, she really belongs to the dog. Chen Feng shook his head, of course not to argue with a little girl like her. He just changed the topic and asked, I've given you the remaining game coins. Do you want them? Ah. Uncle, you're not joking, are you? There are so many game coins. The little girl looked at Chen Feng in surprise. Chen Feng still has at least 2,000 game coins left, which is equivalent to over 2,000 cash according to the exchange value in the game hall. I've said I won't play anymore, and I can't return it. I don't want to sell it at a low price, so I can only give it to you. That's it. However, uncle, you don't have any malicious intentions towards me, do you? I'm still young. The little girl deliberately made a look of fear and vigilance, and her eyes were quite playful. Fuck you. Chen Feng couldn't help but reach out and rub her head for a while, directly turning her hairstyle into a chicken coop. The girl screamed and tried her best to protect her hairstyle, and Chen Feng's mood immediately improved. Do you want it? No, I'll just leave it here. Yes. Why not? This is compensation for you messing up my hairstyle. The little girl said with a straight and strong physiological tone. Okay. I'll get you the counter and put it on your membership card. Do you have a card? Of course there is. The two quickly arrived at the counter and counted the game coins, totaling 25.93, all of which were included in the girl's membership card. At this moment, Chen Feng learned the name of the little girl from the counter attendant. Qin Xiaoro. Prepare the membership cards and walk out of the game hall and mall together, standing by the street. At this point it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening, and Chen Feng asked with concern, "Did you come out alone tonight?" "Why?" Qin Xiaoro looked wary. Chen Feng suppressed the urge to rub her head again and said simply and clearly, "Don't your family worry if you come out alone tonight. You won't go to school tomorrow. Do you need to manage it?" Qin Xiaoro glanced at Chen Feng, turned around, and quickly ran away towards the side. "I'll go." Chen Feng was stunned for a while before realizing that this wild girl was really uncivilized. She would turn her face when she said she wanted to turn it around, and leave when she said she wanted to, without any attachment. At least the two of them played a game together for a whole night, and Chen Feng gave her over 2,000 game coins, so they turned their faces mercilessly. What's going on in this world? Is it so indifferent between people? Can't there be more trust and warmth between people? Are the new generation now so ruthless? Chen Feng stood on the street, feeling a sigh in his heart, and suddenly realized that the world was not worth it. This book has been signed, please rest assured to collect it. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Avoidance without avoidance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Avoidance without avoidance. Chen Feng felt a little unhappy in his heart, feeling that his kindness had been mistaken for a donkey's liver and lungs. He originally thought that if Qin Xiaoro came out alone, he would take her back or call her a taxi. After all, on this big night, she was a 15-year-old girl alone outside, which was really unsettling. As a result, Qin Xiaoro turned around and didn't recognize anyone, so she left him and ran away. Chen Feng sighed and turned to walk towards his parking spot. Just as I walked a while, I heard a shout from behind. "Uncle, uncle, wait a moment." Chen Feng turned around in surprise and saw Qin Xiaoro running towards him, panting a bit. "Why did you just leave?" "What do you mean?" Qin Xiaoro ran closer, panting and glaring at Chen Feng in dissatisfaction, leaving him stunned. "Here." Qin Xiaoro took out a bottle of beverage from the plastic bag containing $5 and stuffed it into Chen Feng's hand. Chen Feng finally realized and asked, "Did you go buy a drink just now? Otherwise?" Qin Xiaoro glared at Chen Feng, "You wouldn't think I ran away, would you?" This, haha, of course not." Chen Feng felt a bit embarrassed. He clearly misunderstood and wronged her. Sure enough, although she didn't have much upbringing, her nature was still not bad. "Why did you leave without saying a word?" Qin Xiaoro looked reluctant. Chen Feng, a big man, naturally replied, "My car is parked here, and I want to drive over to the roadside to wait for you." "Oh, you drove over here? Isn't it an electric donkey cart?" Qin Xiaoro sneered with disdain. She is indeed an uncivilized wild girl. Before yesterday, he didn't even mention a sedan, he didn't even have an electric donkey car. Fortunately, he really has a car now, otherwise he would be embarrassed. "It's a car with 4 wheels, Chen Feng emphasized. "Of course there are 4 wheels in a car, are there still 2 wheels?" Qin Xiaoro deliberately raised the bar. "All right. Do you want me to take you back?" "Don't worry, I'll call you a taxi." This wild girl is really a headache, Chen Feng doesn't want to argue with her. Qin Xiaoro refused directly, "It's only 10 o'clock now, it's still early. I don't want to go back now." Chen Feng frowned and said, "It's so late, can your family rest assured that you're outside alone?" Qin Xiaoro said coldly, "I don't have a family." Chen Feng was taken aback for a moment, looked up and down at her, shook his head, and said, "You're lying to ghosts. You only have this set of clothes for at least 1,000 yuan, and even if your shoes are branded, you need to pay 1,000 yuan, right? Are you an orphan?" Qin Xiaoro continued to argue, "Who said I'm an orphan?" Chen Feng angrily said, "Didn't you just say you didn't have a family? Are you an orphan without a family?" Qin Xiaoro. "Isn't it?" Chen Feng stared. Qin Xiaoro said seriously, when I say no family, I mean there's no one at home tonight, understand? The level of self-justification is also lacking. Chen Feng couldn't help but reach out to his forehead and helplessly said, okay, what do you say is what you mean? After speaking, he turned around and left. He doesn't want to continue enduring this little brat's temper. Hey, wait for me. Qin Xiaoro grabbed a large plastic bag and quickly followed up. Chen Feng wanted to ignore it, but thinking of her as a girl made the night really unsafe. Looking at the drink in his hand again, he sighed and could only stop. Uncle, don't rush to leave yet. Let's have a drink first. We've been playing in the game hall for so long and haven't had any water. Aren't you thirsty? Qin Xiaoro took out a bottle of beverage while speaking, and opened it to drink with a thud. Chen Feng didn't hesitate to see this. He was indeed thirsty. He opened the drink in his hand, drank half a bottle in one breath, and then hiccuped, feeling very comfortable. This drink is good, Chen Feng casually praised and looked at the bottle. Yuanchang functional drink, I haven't tried it before. Not bad, isn't it? I love drinking this kind of beverage and I still have a chance to win. I won 200 yuan last time. Qin Xiaoro said as she picked up the bottle cap and flipped it over to take a look. With some regret, she said, I didn't win this one. Take it and take a look. Chen Feng handed her the bottle cap casually, and Qin Xiaoro flipped it over to look at it. Her eyes widened immediately, and she exclaimed in surprise, I won the prize. It's a big whale color TV. This luck. Chen Feng felt a bit numb. He didn't even want to win any prizes, so he borrowed someone else's hand to make him win. This operation really makes Chen Feng unavoidable. Uncle, you've won a color TV for thousands of yuan. Aren't you excited? Qin Xiaoro saw Chen Feng's calm expression and asked with some confusion. I already have a color TV at home, I'll give it to you, Chen Feng said nonchalantly. After hesitating for a moment, Qin Xiaoro lowered her voice and said with a hint of shyness, Uncle, why are you treating me so well? Just give me so many game coins and give me a big prize. You're not really interested in me, are you? I'm still young. I'll go. Chen Feng couldn't help but reach out and vigorously rub her head, turning her into a chicken coop once again. Qin Xiaoro screamed again and said angrily, I'm warning you, if you continue to behave like this, I'll turn my back. Do you know that your behavior is equivalent to destroying someone else's appearance and is a crime? Seeing this wild girl really getting a little angry, Chen Feng had to wave his hand and say, okay. It's my fault, but what nonsense did you say just now? You're still underage. I also have. Wives, don't talk nonsense, understand? I gave you game coins before because I really don't want to play video games anymore. Now I'm giving you this big prize because I don't need this TV, and this drink is also something you bought for me. Can I take it? Sure. I'll give you this bottle of drink, it's yours. I also have a color TV at home, and besides, I'm not yet of age, so I can't go alone to receive the prize. It's better for you to go and receive it. Okay. Chen Feng didn't want to argue with her anymore. He put away the bottle cap and took a few gulps to finish the remaining drink. Let's go, I'll take you home. I'm really going home so early. Don't you want to continue playing for a while? Chen Feng couldn't help but say, it's almost 11 o'clock, it's still early. Don't you have to go to school tomorrow? That's true. You adults are all like this, you know what to do. Chen Feng stopped talking and led the way, quickly arriving at his Buick. The newly purchased car is a bit low-end, it looks very cheap. This girl really has a bad mouth. Chen Feng walked over to the driver's seat and said to her, do you want me to take you home? If not, I'll leave. Yes. Of course I do. Qin Xiaoro quickly opened the passenger door and sat inside. Chen Feng also sat in the driver's seat, started the car and asked, "Where is your home? Do you know about Jinqiu Road? Just take me there. Jinqiu Road is long, at least 5 or 6 kilometers. No coordinates. Okay, the Top Scholar Academy." Upon hearing this, Chen Feng was immediately surprised and turned his head to look at her in surprise. "I didn't see it, your family is quite wealthy," he said. Qin Xiao pouted and said, "Money is useless." Chen Feng can only chuckle. The Zhuangyuan Xuefu community is quite famous because it is one of the top high-end residential areas in Shuzhou City, with an area of over 80,000 yuan per square meter. From the name of the community, you can tell that this is a school district house. The surrounding kindergartens, primary schools, middle schools, and even universities are among the best in the province. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Relaxing Mindset. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Relaxing Mindset. More than 10 minutes later, the car arrived at the Top Scholars School. Stopping at the roadside, Chen Feng turned his head and said, "Let's go down. Try not to come out alone at night in the future. You're not safe as a girl, you know." Qin Xiao didn't come back this time. She just said, "Since you're worried about my safety, why don't you play with me? I usually go to the game hall alone, not anywhere else." Chen Fengxin said that I am not your father. Just now, what I said was just because we got to know each other, a senior's concern for the younger generation. So, Chen Feng simply said, "I'm not available." "Alright, you get off the car. Pay more attention to your safety in the future." Qin Xiao pouted and said, hypocritical, then took out her phone and opened WeChat, saying, "Scan me." After a moment of hesitation, Chen Feng took out his newly purchased phone and scanned it. Soon, the friend application was approved, and Chen Feng noted, "Wild girl." On Qin Xiao's side, Chen Feng was uncle. "Uncle, can you accompany me when I call you out to play in the future?" Qin Xiao suddenly asked pitifully in a low voice. Chen Feng won't be fooled by her tricks, this wild girl is very mischievous. However, he cannot refuse directly, so as not to let her continue indefinitely. So Chen Feng perfunctorily said, "Let's talk more. I may not be available." "Are you refusing?" Qin Xiao tilted her head and glared angrily, pouting, looking a bit cute. Chen Feng smiled and said, "Didn't I say it's not certain? I have a job and a wife and children, and it's rare for me to have free time." "You're lying to ghosts," Qin Xiao said disdainfully. "We've been playing games all night and haven't seen anyone call you. You're just a big bachelor, and you're still a wife and child." Chen Feng was speechless. Are children's minds so bright now? After Chen Feng was exposed by her words, he didn't want to continue lying, it was boring. Okay. I'm single, okay. Let's get together next time we have a chance. Now, hurry up and get off the car and go home." "Humph. Go down. Qin Xiao seemed a bit angry and just opened the car door and got off. Chen Feng didn't leave immediately, but watched her angrily walk towards the gate of the Top Scorers School, tossing the large plastic bag in her hand as if venting her anger, and couldn't help but feel a bit amused in her heart. Although this girl is a bit uncivilized, she is actually quite cute. If I had such a lovely daughter, I would definitely accompany and care for her well. Unfortunately, it seems that he won't have it in his lifetime. Thinking of this, Chen Feng suddenly became dissatisfied with the girl's parents. This big night, your daughter came out to play alone, and as parents, she didn't even bother. This is too irresponsible. Watching Qin Xiao enter the entrance of the Top Scorers School, Chen Feng started his car and left. What he didn't know was that when he drove away, Qin Xiao, who had never turned back, was turning around and standing there with reluctant eyes, watching his car drive away. Return to the rental house, take a shower first, and then lie in bed ready to sleep. Suddenly, Chen Feng thought that he didn't seem to have much nausea, vomiting, or headaches these past 2 days. Upon careful consideration, Chen Feng realized that it seemed to have happened after the divorce. Before the divorce, and even during the divorce procedures at the Civil Affairs Bureau, he still had a faint headache. After obtaining the divorce certificate, it seems that the headache symptoms disappear, and then good luck keeps coming. The experiences of these 2 days can only be described as magical. Chen Feng felt very confused about his good luck in the past 2 days. This luck was too unreasonable, even making people feel strange. However, he thought he only had 2 or 3 months to live, so he could see it through and there was nothing to be afraid of. Good luck is always better than bad luck. If it weren't for his terminal illness, he might have woken up laughing from his dreams at this moment. Relax your mindset and have a good night's dream. Compared to his previous frequent insomnia, his sleep quality has been really good these past few days. It's surprisingly good. He woke up automatically around 7 o'clock in the morning, which is the biological clock he has developed in recent years. Usually at this time, he hurriedly wakes up to wash up and then rushes to work, because his working hours are at 8 o'clock and it takes about 20 minutes to ride a bicycle there. And his ex-wife Shenlin is much more comfortable. In a public institution, although it is supposed to start work at 9 o'clock, in reality, going there at 9:30 is not considered late. Work is easy, the salary is very good, not to mention the 5 insurances and 1 fund. The company often provides benefits, including food and expenses, as well as a large bonus at the end of the year. Chen Feng, a hard-working office worker, can only be envious, jealous, and most importantly, he often gets angry in the company. So much so that in the past 2 years, he has been depressed and frustrated, and he also appears very decadent. So, no wonder the relationship between Shenlin and him is becoming increasingly thin. The reason why she first took a liking to Chen Feng was that she couldn't deny that he was very handsome. He was 1.78 meters tall and loved basketball. He could do 100 push-ups every day, and he was also considered a top student in college. His figure was well maintained. Not to mention that women choose men regardless of their appearance, it's just in situations where there is no other choice or when the man is very wealthy. Otherwise, it's just nonsense. Men and women are actually the same, both visual animals. Men are attracted to beautiful women, and women are equally attracted to handsome men. Chen Feng was a handsome guy back then. Although he didn't have money or a house, his job was not bad at the time. He earned 7,000 or 8,000 yuan a month and was highly valued by his superiors. He could quickly be promoted and given a raise. Shenlin fell in love with him because of these comprehensive conditions, and after 2 years of dating, she persisted in marrying him despite the opposition of her family. As a result, shortly after their marriage, Chen Feng suffered a significant blow to his career, with the leader who valued him falling seriously ill and resigning. Chen Feng, who was once valued by the leaders, naturally faced exclusion and suppression as he rose to power as a mortal enemy. Firstly, he caught a small mistake in his work and removed his position as deputy manager, demoting him to an ordinary employee. Then, he was assigned to handle the most difficult cases in the company, but the result was that he couldn't complete them, which inevitably led to another round of training. At this point, Chen Feng couldn't bear it and was preparing to resign. As a result, the resignation report was approved, but he must pay a penalty for breach of contract. The reason is that Chen Feng signed a 5-year contract with the company initially, and only resigned for 3 years. According to the contract, if Chen Feng resigns early, he must pay the company's initial training fee of 100,000 yuan spent on him. When he joined, the company sent him to a professional institution for a 2-month training, but the cost of 100,000 yuan was exaggerated. This so-called training fee is only a pretext, in fact it is a breach of contract penalty, a way to evade relevant laws. However, those who were able to be sent for training by the company at that time were all talents that the company highly valued and focused on cultivating. So, it is normal to have such provisions in the contract. Otherwise, if I train you well and resign soon, wouldn't it be cheaper for another company? Moreover, these regulations are also mutually exclusive. If the company wants to dismiss employees within these 5 years, it will also have to pay a penalty of 50,000 yuan for breach of contract. Although there may be some inequalities, such contracts are still relatively generous in today's labor market. All the people sent by the company for training at that time signed without exception. Of course, Chen Feng could not afford to pay a penalty of 100,000 yuan and could only continue to stay in the company. He was quickly marginalized, and over the course of several months, he rapidly declined, gaining weight day by day and becoming the chubby person he is now. Signed, please rest assured to collect and support. Thank you. End of this chapter. Can't I say what you did in chapter 9? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can't I say what you did in chapter 9? He has been in this company for over 4 years, almost 2 years of decline, and there are less than 3 months left until the 5-year contract expires. If it weren't for the diagnosis of a terminal illness, he would still be struggling in this company, waiting for the contract to expire for 5 years. At the same time, it is also to be able to earn a monthly salary of 3,000 to 4,000. 2 years ago, as the deputy manager of the planning department, he had a salary of 7,000 to 8,000 yuan. He was looking to become a regular employee and earned over 10,000 yuan per month. However, after being rapidly marginalized, his salary dropped again and again, with only 3,000 to 4,000 yuan per month for full attendance, performance, and some bonuses, not only half of which were cut. Later on, Chen Feng completely collapsed, and the newly appointed CEO lost interest in suppressing him. Otherwise, his salary might have continued to decrease. Because the total attendance award is 900 yuan, although Chen Feng used to be mediocre in the company and lacked ambition, his attendance rate was still very good, and he basically wouldn't be late. But today, he has been absent for 2 days, so of course he won't be fully present this month. Before the divorce, he may have been very heartbroken, but now of course it doesn't matter. Originally, Chen Feng had no intention of going to the company on a new day. As he was leisurely eating lamb noodles at home that morning, he received a call from manager Yan Jun. Chen Feng, do you still want to do it? How many days have it been since you took a day off? Yan Jun was just his disciple 2 years ago, but he quickly rose to power by betraying his master and having a deep foundation in flattery. He first replaced him as the deputy manager of the planning department, and then managed to squeeze out the legitimate manager in just 1 year, successfully rising to power. From his personal experience, this guy is a true elite in the workplace, belonging to the kind of person who smiles in front of him and stabs him in the back. 2 years ago, after he successfully took office, although he also gave Chen Feng a lot of small shoes to wear, he later saw that Chen Feng was completely ruined and lost his threat to him, so he did not deliberately target him anymore. At most departmental meetings, give Chen Feng some eye drops and criticize him without naming him. So, although Chen Feng has a big opinion of him and has thought several times about stopping him and beating him up after work, he still has to admire this guy's workplace skills in his heart. This time, Chen Feng took a day off, but ended up not coming to work for 3 days. As a department manager, Yan Jun naturally needs to call to inquire, but his tone is very unpleasant. As a dying man, Chen Feng's heart relaxed a lot. After Yan Jun finished speaking, he said calmly, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it, okay, you resign. Just pay a penalty of 100,000 yuan for breach of contract. Alright, Yan Jun. Why are you so annoying? Aren't you just being heartless? Who brought you in when you first joined the company? Who helped you rent a house? Who helped you pay the rent? Chen Feng, are you saying these things now interesting? Are you not coming to work yourself? Isn't it because I forced you not to come? If you still have some nostalgia, just criticize me for taking 3 days off. I gave you 1 day off, why 3 days? Alright, that's it. You can come or not. Anyway, if you didn't come to work for 3 days, you definitely won't have full attendance this month, and your performance and bonus will at least be halved. If you don't come for 4 consecutive days, then your performance and bonus for this month will be gone. Don't blame me for not telling you in advance. Chen Feng became unhappy upon hearing this and said coldly, it's already the 17th today. When I took leave, I had already been working for half a month. Even if I don't work for the next half month, there's no reason to deduct all of my performance and bonus. Yan Jun, you have to have a good conscience. It's been 2 years and you're still targeting me. Do you think it's interesting? Is it necessary for me to target you, such an old salted fish? Anyway, this is the company's policy. I have already informed you that if you don't come to work again, you will have to deduct all your performance and bonuses this month. That's all. After speaking, Yan Jun hung up the phone. Although Chen Feng doesn't care about this salary now, Yan Jun is really deceiving others too much. A person who is about to die, I didn't want to argue with him, but this guy is stubborn and has become addicted to bullying his master. If this happens again, there's no need to talk to him about generosity. Before death, of course, there is revenge and gratitude, without leaving any regrets for oneself. Chen Feng made a decision in his heart and continued to eat lamb noodles slowly. After burping heavily after eating, he calmly tidied up and drove to the office. Jianchuan Cultural Planning Company is located in a high-end commercial office building in the center of Shenzhou. Its main business is to undertake event planning and execution, corporate culture construction, performing arts activities, brand planning, exhibition displays, product launches, and more for major companies. It is one of the largest companies in the same industry in Shenzhou, established for over a decade, with over 200 employees. The first floor of the office building is rented as an office space, and the annual rent is nearly 10 million yuan. It can be said that he has abundant wealth and abundant resources. However, as a member of the company, although the past 2 years have been quite challenging, Chen Feng also noticed that the company's performance has been continuously declining. There are faint rumors that the boss above is very dissatisfied with the current management of the company. It is possible to replace the leadership or directly transfer the company. When Chen Feng arrived at the company, it was almost 10 o'clock in the morning and he was exempt from checking in. At the front desk, there were 2 beautiful girls in professional attire with beautiful bows on their necklines. When Chen Feng came in, one of them, named Huang Li, quickly asked with concern, "Feng, why haven't you come to work these past few days?" "There's something at home," Chen Feng smiled and nodded without saying much, walking straight inside. After Chen Feng entered, another front desk member joked softly, "Lily, you seem to be a bit too concerned about him, right?" Huang Li lightly tapped her and said coquettishly, "What are you talking about? Brother Feng helped me a lot back then." "Humph, didn't he just happen to scare off a few hooligans for you? How many times have you said that? Do you still want to make a promise? He's a married man." "Don't talk nonsense, I don't," Huang Li explained with a blush on her face. Chen Feng quickly arrived at the office area of the planning department and saw Yan Jun giving orders to several subordinates with great force. Chen Feng came in, he just glanced at it and completely ignored it. Chen Feng smiled slightly at this and walked over. Amidst the strange expressions of several colleagues in the same department, he casually pulled a chair and sat down. The planning department is the core department of the company, with a total of 25 people. However, they may not always be in the company on a regular basis, and often have to go to the client company's site for supervision and coordination. So, many times there may only be a few people left behind in the company, and that's how it is today. Alright, let's all get busy. After Yan Jun assigned several tasks to his subordinates, they all quickly returned to their own compartments. Yan Jun looked straight at Chen Feng and said with a cold face, "Chen Feng, do you know you're back now? It's too late. You've lost all your attendance this month, and your performance and bonus have been halved." Chen Feng stood up from the chair, his eyes suddenly becoming sharp, and he angrily scolded, "Yan Jun, it seems that you are really a ruthless master. As your master, I treated you well back then. You stabbed me in the back and stepped on my way to the top, and I didn't care too much about you. If I used to endure you all the time, it didn't mean I was afraid of you, nor did it mean I would endure you for the rest of my life. Absenteeism was just a small matter, and if you deducted my full attendance, I had nothing to say. I also deducted my performance and bonus. Don't you think it's too much?" Yan Jun didn't expect Chen Feng to suddenly explode. Asking him so loudly in front of his colleagues was like lifting the table and tearing his face apart. What he did back then was indescribable, as promoting it was not good for his personal reputation and prestige, and it would also affect the company's leadership's perception of him. After Chen Feng finished scolding him, he was stunned for a while before he realized it. He immediately became angry and said loudly, "Chen Feng, who do you think you are? Do you think you were the deputy manager of the planning department 2 years ago? You just entered the company a year earlier than me and took me for a few months. Do you think you are my benefactor? Don't you flatter yourself? Even if I'm not your benefactor, I'm still your master. You used to give me all kinds of compliments on the surface, but in the blink of an eye, you reported a small mistake in my work to Mr. Chow, who had just taken office, and stepped on me to take office. Isn't that right? You have done so ungrateful things that I can't say." Previously, because Chen Feng wanted to stay in the company for a 5-year contract, he did not disclose the dirty thing Yan Jun did back then. Otherwise, Yan Jun would definitely keep putting on his shoes endlessly. But now Chen Feng is about to die, and Yan Jun is still bullying others so much. What other concerns does Chen Feng have? Just fuck him directly. After all, Yan Jun was at fault, and if the two of them were shouting so loudly that the whole company knew about it, the only person to lose face could be him, the department manager. His face turned pale as he gritted his teeth and approached Chen Feng, threatening in a low voice, "Are you trying to play tough with me? I'll tell you, I have some ways to kill you. Believe it or not." Chen Feng gave him a slight smile and then slammed him with a slap. Pop. The sound was loud enough, and the force was strong enough to prevent Yan Jun from being knocked down directly by his slap. Yan Jun's mind was still buzzing. Chen Feng had already picked up a keyboard on the nearby desk, pulled it hard, and then slammed it hard on his head. In just one go, Yan Jun was completely laid flat on the ground. Yan Jun had just let out a mournful cry, and then he hit his face again, splattering keycaps all over the ground. At the same time, nosebleeds surged out. A few more attempts were needed, but several colleagues in the same department finally reacted and came forward to hold on to him. 3,000 words, please support us. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. It's like tearing down a house. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. It's like tearing down a house. These few colleagues who stayed behind in the company are basically not considered Yan Jun's confidants. The ones who were sent out are because although it is a bit tough, there is more free time and more fuel. Except for 2 elderly people who have been in the company for more than a year, the rest are newcomers who were added in the past few months. The employee turnover of the company has been quite high in recent years, especially in departments with high performance pressure such as the planning department. If Chen Feng hadn't been bound by the contract, he would definitely have left early. And most people without contract constraints, of course, just want to leave. Now these colleagues are holding on to Chen Feng together, not to save Yan Jun, but to prevent the situation from escalating. Of course, they are also afraid that the situation will escalate and implicate them. Another thing is that if they stand idly by, Yan Jun will definitely want them to look good afterwards. Alright, let go of it all. I won't take any more action. With Chen Feng's words, he struggled a few times and the 2 people who were holding onto his arms also let go. However, there were still 2 people in front of him. With the help of the other 2 people, Yan Jun finally stood up from the ground. He reached out and wiped his mouth, his hands covered in blood, all from his nose. He was so angry that his whole body trembled and shouted angrily, "Chen Feng! I want to kill you." Chen Feng sneered at him and said, "I'll just stand here and kill you. Do you dare?" "Okay, okay. Do you dare me?" Just now, Chen Feng's crazy output made Yan Jun's face bleed and lose face. Of course, Yan Jun couldn't care about the image of his department manager anymore. Yan Jun gritted his teeth and quickly went over to pick up a keyboard from his desk. With both hands pulling hard, he couldn't pull it out, and the keyboard cable was still connected to the computer. Yan Jun's angry hands tugged hard again, and finally pulled it out. But he also dropped the computer host to the ground with a bang, and then the monitor flipped to the ground. With a bang, the display screen was scrapped, and many things on his desk also fell to the ground with a thunderous clatter. It's like demolishing a house. This is a bit awkward. The Yen army had just reached its peak with a tiger-like momentum, and suddenly withered. Thinking of Chen Feng's fierce energy just now, his morale became even weaker. Chen Feng is not afraid of wearing shoes when he is barefoot, but I now have a monthly salary of tens of thousands. I have a car, a house, a home, and a small family, so I cannot work hard with him. But he even raised the keyboard, it would be too embarrassing for him to back down halfway. Yan Jun quickly gestured to the nearest subordinate with his eyes, meaning that he wanted him to stop him so that he could go downhill. As a result, this subordinate clearly misunderstood his gaze and thought it was to ask him not to block the way. He instinctively stepped aside, indicating that he had not stopped him and that he could use the keyboard as a weapon to unleash his full potential. Yan Jun was already dumbfounded at that time. I cursed a fool in my heart, took a deep look at the newcomer, and made a note of him. This newcomer thought he did the right thing and gave him a shy smile. Yan Jun was so angry that his liver was sore, and he found it difficult to ride the keyboard with both hands. Chen Feng saw his timidity and sneered, "Yan Jun, are you weak now? You're like this, you can only play behind the scenes and plot against people. If you want to take action, you'll be a weakling. With just you, you can't satisfy your wife normally. She won't know how many green hats she'll wear for you in the future." Chen Feng. "I'm Chao Nima." Yan Jun was completely angry because Chen Feng really hit his sore spot. He couldn't satisfy his wife, and it's been a day or two now. He's always worried that his wife will wear a green hat on him. Chen Feng, which pot is not opened and which pot is not picked up? Help me hold him down. Yan Jun shouted angrily, ordering several subordinates and promising benefits. As long as you help me hold him down, my bonus will double next month, and I will vigorously promote him in the future. The monthly bonus is also a few hundred yuan, which is a very practical benefit. As for a strong promotion, although it may not be very convincing, it is better than being put on small shoes. Suddenly, a few people on the scene hesitated as you looked at me. Chen Feng remained calm and said with a smile, "Yan Jun, you're trying to drag people down. Others don't know, but we don't even know that you're a cronyist and secretly accepting various benefits from clients. You're stealing money from your trusted subordinates, accepting bribes, and harming the company's interests. You're going to go to jail sooner or later, and you're trying to drag people down. You don't spit blood out of others." Yan Jun suddenly became uneasy and felt very guilty. He thought he had been doing things very discreetly in the past 2 years, only knowing about himself and a few trusted subordinates, but he didn't expect to be exposed by Chen Feng's words. "What? Are you scared? Are you feeling guilty?" Chen Feng looked at him with a mocking expression on his face. Yan Jun is really scared and guilty. He has enjoyed many benefits both inside and outside the company in the past 2 years. Otherwise, how could he have lived such a comfortable life in the provincial capital city of Shuzhou? It is impossible to rely solely on a salary of over 100,000 yuan per year. Chen Feng, why don't you stop him from biting people recklessly? I'm standing up straight. Do you think if you just say a few words of injustice to me, someone will believe me? Yan Jun said so, but the keyboard that was originally held in both hands has been put down, and he no longer mentions the matter of his subordinates holding down Chen Feng. Chen Feng sneered and said, "Don't you forget that I used to work as a deputy manager. Your little tricks may be good enough to deceive others, but they can't hide from the people I've worked in your position. Do you understand?" Upon hearing Chen Feng's words, Yan Jun's mind buzzed again. He knew his own family affairs and had made a fortune in the past 2 years. For example, the original quotation for this planning proposal was 1 million yuan, but he took advantage of the client's 100,000 yuan offer and only quoted 800,000 yuan. He told the company that the client was too good at lowering the price. This clearly harms the interests of our company. Another one is the project leader of the joint client company. Originally, a planning proposal of 1 million yuan was sufficient. The project leader of the client company would receive a kickback by directly quoting 1.5 million yuan, and he could also receive a benefit fee of at least tens of thousands of yuan. These two methods are the most commonly used and can also be considered as hidden rules in the workplace. There are also some more complex ways to catch oil and water. In short, his annual gray income has been several times his original salary for the past 2 years. Of course, these things are all crimes, and if caught, they will definitely go to jail. Although he thinks he won't be caught with evidence, he really dares not take this risk. Especially if Chen Feng, an insider, were exposed, he would definitely not be able to finish eating and walk around. Chen Feng, seeing that you took care of me back then, today's matter is over. Just treat me as repaying your kindness back then. I will no longer make things difficult for you regarding bonuses and performance. That's all for now. That's it. Yan Jun was still very decisive and immediately chose to temporarily compromise. It doesn't benefit him at all to make a big fuss at this time. It's better to stabilize Chen Feng first, and then find a way to control him privately afterwards. Of course, Chen Feng didn't want to let him go so easily. He had already torn his face apart. How could there be any more sentimentality to talk about? Besides, although he beat up Yan Jun just now, the anger he had been holding in his heart for 2 years still lingered. Wait. Wait. 2 simultaneous sounds rang out, and Chen Feng looked at the door in surprise. He saw the company's general manager, Mr. Chow, walking in with several other senior executives and a fierce woman in her 30s. Mr. Chow's face was very ugly, with already slightly dark skin, but now it's even darker. End of this chapter.